Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today is Q&A Tuesday. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. Every Tuesday, I take all the questions that have been submitted by viewer comments through emails and from Instagram, and I put it all into one episode. So here we go. And a special shout out to everybody who submitted their question. If you would like to have your question submitted for next week's Q&A Tuesday, I hope that you will comment below or shoot me an email. And let's get started. All right, first question. Hi, Blue. I started a certificate course with a program because I currently can't afford to go to school to get my certification, but I am definitely looking forward to going to school. Is a certificate for billing and coding good enough to get a job on? By the way, thank you for your videos. They are very helpful because prior to watching your videos, I had no clue about medical billing and coding field. So far, I have gotten a certificate of completion for medical billing, CSM 1500 and A37 professional. I don't know what that means. Is that useful? Okay, I will start off by saying this. The viewer spelled my name, B-L-U-E. I will have you guys know that this normally doesn't bother me, but I am talking to coders or future coders. You guys need to start getting to these good habits of looking at the details. My name is spelled B-L-E-U. It is in the title of most of my videos. I always put Medical Coding with Blue in there. It is in the body of the description box. It is the title of my channel, Medical Coding with Blue. Please start spelling my name correctly. And the reason that I say this is because getting into these good habits now of watching those details is going to help you in the future. Do you know why? Because being one letter off or one number off or transposing a letter and a number in a code can completely change the code. So if you don't get used to doing the details now, when are you going to get used to that? So please, my name, B-L-E-U. That was my own little part there. But to address this question, so a lot of times when you're applying for these positions, if they say that you have had the education, that maybe they'll hire you, but you have to have your certification within 6 months, which is reasonable. That is a really good, if you can get into some place like that, hey, that's great. But if you are just trying to stroll in there with a certificate of completion, that doesn't mean anything. In order to be hired as a medical coder competitively, and competitively meaning to get that kind of pay to start, you need to have your certification. There is no getting around that. I mean, some people will take experience, but if you have no experience and you just try to go up in there with a certificate, it's no good. Okay, you have to have your certification. That is the bottom line. And I understand that schools are very expensive. I do have a whole outline of how you can study on your own to get the certification without having to go through a medical coding and billing program, okay? And you can sit for either the American Health Information Management Association's CCA, that is the Certified Coding Associate, or AAPC's, the Certified Professional Coder Apprentice for their new CPCs. You can sit for either one because either one of these programs does not require you to have to go through a formal program. So I'm going to leave the link for that video down in the description box below. Please watch it if you're interested in doing that because it gives you the entire breakdown. And if you follow that, it is over the course of 12 months because that is a reasonable time to get through this, to get to learning just the basics. A lot of times people will try to get through these really fast, swift programs. Oh, less than 6 months. Oh, a 5-month. No. If you want to take this stuff seriously, you're going to go either 9 months, 12 months, or 18 months. Anything less than that, 6 months and less, no. Guys, let's be realistic, okay? It's a lot of stuff. Medical terminology, anatomy, physiology, HIPAA, the medical law and ethics. Yeah, you got all that. Plus, then you got to learn the book. Not just one book. You got to learn the ICD-10-CM book, which is the diagnosis. You got to learn the CPT book. And that is only if you're doing the outpatient side coding. If you're doing the inpatient, oh yeah, we got to tack on another book for you, the ICD-10 PCS. Oh, and on top of that, there's a HCPCS book, HCPCS, and that has all of your durable medical equipment and medications and a lot of other stuff in it too. So you got to learn all of those books on top of all the other stuff. So that's why I say, if you're trying to get through a program and it's really swift and oh yeah, no guys. Just my advice. Take your time, learn it properly, learn it correctly, so that way when you are going into the real world, you're going to be prepared. You're not going to feel lost, and you're not going to have to rely on your employer to train you how to code. Because at the end of the day, when they're looking at brand new medical coders, they expect them to already know how to code. They already have a hard time getting new people hired, right? You have to make sure that you know that you can show that you know what you're doing. That's just my advice on that one. But yeah, you need your certification. Absolutely. Next question. Hi, Blue. And my name is spelled right, so thank you. I was wondering if you are willing to share with me your resume. When I asked the viewer why, they said, for me to learn how to structure my own resume. Here's the thing, guys. My resume is not for public consumption. It is for an employer, all right? The reason that I do this and I do not share my personal resume is because I don't want people to copy. There are going to be people who will just copy straight from there to whatever. I'm not saying that this viewer is going to do that, but there are people that do those types of things. That's why I won't specifically write out whatever, because you guys need to do this on your own. Nobody knows your skill set but you. Nobody can describe your skill set more perfectly than you, which is why I don't recommend getting these very expensive professional resume writers. I don't know why people would hire somebody to professionally write their resume and it does no good, because they are not going to know what you know. And if you can't match that cadence when you're in there speaking to that potential future employer, it's a no-go, because then they're going to know that they had this resume professionally written. You have to be able to write, guys. And the reason that I say you have to be able to write is because you have to communicate with these providers by email, or you have to be able to communicate with your supervisor by email. And you have to be able to write things clearly and where they can understand and in good sentence structure. And it's going to start with, how does your resume look? How does your cover letter look? So I will be doing videos with more like tips on how to write. But keep in mind, it's going to be entirely up to you. And there are ways to do it. There's lots of templates you can use that are out there that are very helpful. But you have to do it yourself. And I always recommend writing at least 5 different resumes out. Because when you're out looking for a job, there's going to be different things that you're going to have to be able to highlight about yourself. I'm just saying. So that is my answer on that one. Like I said, I will be doing some more in the future. Not any recently, because I already have my schedule planned out for myself. So I don't have anything about resumes until a little bit further on. But that is something to keep in mind. Okay, plenty of books out there on how to do a really good resume as well. So I encourage you all to do that. Next question. Thank you, Blue, for the motivation. You are awesome. But I have a question. Are the medical coding jobs for someone who wants to work in more homeopathic or natural medicine type settings? Are there medical coding positions for that? I know those positions, those settings are more rare to find. Are medical coders needed just as much for those health providers? So that's a very good question, but you have to keep in mind that when you deal with like homeopathic medicine and natural medicine and things like that, those people are more of like a cash-based type operation. They're not going to be submitting things a lot of times to the insurance company. So sometimes they're going to take out what they don't need. So in that case, they wouldn't need a medical coder, right? Because it's all natural and it's basically a cash operation. So your goal as a new medical coder is to get a job in either a facility or in a doctor's office, right? That is the goal. So it doesn't matter what kind of medicine they practice. It doesn't matter what they do. It could be an ortho group, or it could be a cardiology group. It could be a gastro group. It could be a urology group. It could be anything. The point is, you have to get out there and find the job. It doesn't matter what sort of setting it is. But like I said, when it comes to homeopathic medicine, that's more of a cash operation and not so much where they're going to have to code out things. So that's my answer on that one. Next question. I have the Optum 360 ICD-10 CM Professional for Physicians, and I was wondering, what is the difference between the one that I have and the expert one that you have? Thank you. So the difference is between the two, they both have really good information. However, with the Optum 360 Expert Edition, there are additional bits of information in there that is pertaining more to the hospital setting. So with the Professional Edition, that is more on the outpatient side. However, you can use either or, right? But a lot of times in schools, they will give the people they will give the students the Professional Edition. I notice that a lot. And I think it's because it's more basic. And it's just more like straightforward and to the point. Optum 360 has a lot of really good books and a lot of really helpful information. And there's so much detail in these books. This is not an ad for Optum 360. However, Optum, call me. We'll talk. But I will say this. They are the books that I trust. That is what I use. And I use the AHIMA edition of the CPT manual. And that is by the AHIMA, but when it comes to the diagnosis coding books and the other additional books to help me, my other coding tool books, that's what I like to call them, like the Coder Desk Reference for Procedures or the Coding Companions, I get them all through Optum 360. They're the ones that put them out, and they are amazing and full of really good information. But yeah, it's just the level of detail and information is just different. There's a little bit more in the Expert Edition, I think. So that's my answer on that one. Next question. What books do I need to do the exam in 2021? It depends on who you're going with and when are you taking the exam. So I recommend that you go directly to the association themselves, whichever one you're sitting for, AHIMA or AAPC, and find out when you're going to schedule your exam. What books do you need? What year versions do you need? That is very important. If you stroll up in there with the wrong year, you forfeit your testing fee. So make sure that you are taking the correct books with you. All right? I'm just saying. Next question. My local college has medical coding and billing certification program. It would be about $2,000. It would prepare you for AAPC. It breaks the program into groups, with medical terminology being the first at $699. I am very curious which is a better way to go, through the technical school or online. Either way, I have to take a loan out, which with COVID and my income is very nerve-wracking, which is sad compared to what some spend. Any advice or suggestions? Thanks so much. You can study on your own. If it is so much of a burden that you are going to have to take out a loan for this, you can go to the video that I told you guys about, like the breakdown of all the things that you have to do if you're going to study on your own. And I talk about the books. And I looked for the cheapest possible books that I could find. And the links that I have listed, they are the Amazon links. However, you don't have to click on them because I do get it like a percentage if you click on them. But you don't have to click on them. That's why I have the title there. That way, if you want to look up the title and try to find it some other way because you perhaps don't shop on Amazon, that is totally fine. I'm sure you can find the stuff on eBay as well. So if you want to study medical billing and coding, you do not have to go through a program. You can study on your own. It is entirely possible to study on your own and get a certification without having to go through a formal program. So that would be my best bit of advice. However, people learn differently. And there's a lot of times when people will say to me, I can't learn on my own. Well, sometimes it's the fact that you just need just a little bit of discipline to help you. But and as far as like getting on a schedule and things like that. So it's entirely up to you. Personally, if you're a reader, this is going to be a little bit easier versus somebody who is not a reader. But this field is 90% reading all day long. So I'm just saying, that would be my advice for that. There is a program if you are low income, or if you're unemployed, or if you are in a low paying job. It's called the WIOA program. That was how I got my school paid for. I didn't have to pay for my school. I went through this program because I was unemployed. It is the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. When I went through it, it was just called WIA, but it was changed to WIOA. And I will be talking more about it tomorrow. That's going to be tomorrow's episode, and how I am literally a success story from that program. And it is a very good program. If you are eligible, they will pay for you to learn a trade. And there's a lot more information on the website, and I'll probably leave it down in the description box below, so that way you guys can check it out. Or you can go to your local workforce office. There is programs out there to help people if they want to go back to school. Obviously, yes, it is very difficult, but if you've been like displaced because of COVID, I'm sure that there's money out there for that as well, as far as like getting back into school and getting retrained to go into a new field. There's funds out there, guys, but you have to just kind of know where to look. The WIOA is a perfect place to start looking, though. So again, I'll be talking more about that tomorrow, and I will leave the link for the WIOA program in the description box below. So check it out if you want to. All right, next question. Is it possible to get financial aid to help for AHIMA, to help pay for AHIMA courses? No, AHIMA does not take financial aid. They do not do financial aid for their program. You'd have to like look into other ways to pay for it, but yeah, they don't have that on the website. Next question. How can you check with your local community college that credentials they have to prepare you for the CPC? So I think what the viewer meant to say was, how do you know that the local community college is going to prepare you for the CPC, which is the Certified Professional Coder with AAPC? That would be as simple as going to them and talking about their medical billing and coding program and asking them, what credentials does this program prepare me for? If it does not prepare you for the American Health Information Management Association or the American Academy of Professional Coder credentials, you need to run. Run, because the thing is, you want a program that is going to train you to be a competitive medical coder. Employers are only looking for AHIMA and AAPC credentials. They are not looking for any other credentials. There is another group, association. I don't know if I should even call it association. There's another one out there. I'm not going to say it on here. Not going to say it. I would just say, if it is not AHIMA, if it is not AAPC, you want to run, because that is not going to help you. And the reason that I say, if it is not one of them and it is somebody else, take a look at the jobs in your area for medical billers and coders and see if that credential is listed in any of those job listings. And I can pretty much guarantee you that it is not. Everybody's looking for AHIMA or AAPC credentials. So if you're going to invest money, you're going to invest time to learn this, go with what is going to help you to actually get a job. Those credentials, not the other one. Next question. Hi, I'm glad I found your channel. I am changing careers and on the pathway to getting into coding. I read a news article saying that a software company out in California has designed software that will be replacing coders. I would like your opinion on the future of the career, and if you think that this is still worth pursuing this field. Thanks again. Yes, it is still worth pursuing. Do you know why? Because they have said this for over 10 years. They said this when I was starting. Oh, we have this new software that is going to take the place of all these coders. You cannot take the place of a human element, the coder, because the provider is going to have their good days and they're going to have their off days. They're going to call a diagnosis one way, one day, and then they're going to use their colloquialism and call it a different thing another day, but still meaning the same thing. The computer is only as smart as you're telling it to be. The same thing with software. So I've heard from these slick software companies, oh, we want to make it more efficient for the providers. And we want to make it where, it's not so many errors. Here's the thing. Those computer systems are only looking for keywords. And that's how they're able to get through these things. So maybe suggesting a more specific code might help. But you still have to have the human element to look at this, to reason it out and say, well, they have all of this information here, but this is not a level 5, which is a high level. This is more of a follow-up or whatever the case may be. This code is not correct because this wasn't listed in the history, but the system is picking it up as current. So there's all of these things that go into this. And that's what that is. Because I've been hearing that over 10 years ago. There are going to be things in the future that will make it more specific, but it's not going to replace us. That is like literally saying that this software or whatever would be able to read the provider's mind. There is no way, because each patient is individual. Each patient is unique. Each provider is unique. So that's just my thoughts on that one. And then the last one is, hi, you give lots of information. I'm in school for medical coding and billing, and I wanted to ask you for one-on-one help via Zoom calls to help understand medical billing and coding. I do offer tutoring one-on-one via Zoom. I will leave my rates down in the description box below. So if you're interested in that, I am happy to help and get you booked on a session. But like I said, rates are down below. And if you're interested, I do have my Patreon channel. Patreon, if you don't know, is a lot like YouTube, but Patreon has you make a pledge to the creator to support them in their efforts. I have my pledge levels start out. I have the lowest starting level is $1 per month, and you get access to all of the quizzes and the medical terminology crosswords that I post, and then you get access to videos about me. So if you're interested in that, I will leave the link for my Patreon down in the description box below if you're curious about what that's like. There's different levels, and different levels give you more access, or it gives you, I do have some levels that include a one-on-one tutoring as well. So if you wanted to do that. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And like I said, tomorrow's episode will be about the WIOA program and my experience with it. Thursday and Friday, Turkey Day and Black Friday, I will be off. And so I will encourage you guys to have wonderful dinners or whatever with your family, and just take some time for yourselves, or watch my videos in between time, and I will see y'all back again on Monday, but I'll see y'all again tomorrow. So if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye.